I bet that everyone who has ever been to Berlin knows these chubby, cozy looking bear statues that are scattered throughout the German capital and striking these weird poses. But what does this pose actually signify? I always want to put something on these hands. I never really gave much attention to these bears until one day I was asked by Streetart Berlin to create and hand paint one of them. I could easily imagine to put my own zigzag style on this chubby companion, so I naturally agreed. And so it happened that I drove to the Buddy Bears headquarters and learned quite a bit about the history and purpose of these bearish sculptures. I was given a tour and the concept behind the bears was explained to me. The idea of the creators, the Herlitz couple, was to bring joy and art to the streets of Berlin with these bears. For the United Buddy Bear series, one bear was painted by an artist from each country in the world. This extensive series has been touring the world for many years. The bears come in various sizes and you can also acquire them as small decorative objects. Now I was equipped with one of the 1 meter tall bears. They wanted me to paint it with something colorful and typical of Berlin. Of course, there's a vast array of themes to choose from in the city.
Where are you going? Stop!
As a young teenager, I was always extremely fascinated by the Love Parade that took place in Berlin. It was an open-air party event that had its peak in the 90s. Up to 1 million techno fans gathered in the heart of Berlin to celebrate a massive techno party. However, the event was registered as a political demonstration to advocate for peace on Earth. I remember sitting in front of the TV as a teenager, watching the whole spectacle being broadcasted. I think that was when I decided to move to Berlin. A city where something like this was possible had to be amazing.
Fucking laut hier, ey. Ich verstehe mein eigenes Wort nicht. Ich hoffe, ihr zu Hause kommt klar mit meinem Stulle-Scheiß.
Alles klar.
So I drew a few characters inspired by the ravers of that time and collaged these figures together. The absence of outlines in the figures was meant to create interesting overlaps, making the overall picture appear somewhat semi-abstract rather than clearly figurative. My girlfriend found these 3 boards that I wanted to paint as a triptych. This was to test exactly this approach. I wanted to ensure that the result would somewhat match my vision for the bear. I was definitely satisfied with the small paintings, so I continued with the same technique on the bear. I developed the new collage for it more or less directly on the bear, as the flat 2D sketches didn't convey much on the bear's 3-dimensional surface. As usual, I opted for a relatively simple and minimal color scheme. Okay, so we are in the middle of the process right now, and as you see, the paint is not coating that properly, so especially with the darker colors, this blue for example in this case, doesn't coat with one coat of paint, so we need, I guess, around about 3 or 5 layers of paint, but then it coats well and it looks super cool. In the end, it turned out to be much more colorful than intended, but it actually fits the spirit of the Love Parade quite well. After I finished painting, the bear already looked quite cool, but the final highlight was missing. The glossy finish. All bears are gloss coated in the official Buddy Bears workshop. So I went there to take a look. The spacious halls not only store all the blank bears, several artists also paint many of them here, followed by the gloss coating. Since there were other bears in line before mine, I couldn't film the coating process. But it will happen in this chamber. This employee is the master of the bear workshop. He not only applies the gloss coating to all bears, but also restores damaged ones and adds attachments to the bears at the request of the artists. After a few days our bears got gloss coated, and what can I say, they look much more elegant and shiny under that glossy finish. But see for yourself. Oh yes, and at the very end of this video I will show you also the artworks, the painted bears by my artist friends Otto Schade and Rabea Senftenberg, who also participated in this project. And what about the important question from the beginning? What does this pose actually signify? I still don't know. Thanks for watching and see you next time.